but it has to be the way you were taught. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but according to their own desires, because they have itching ears, they will heap up for themselves teachers, and they will turn their ears away from the truth and be turned aside to fables. But you be watchful in all things, enduring afflictions. Do the work of an evangelist, fulfilling your ministry. The key is, if you're built up and you have strong roots, where is that coming from? It's coming from what you have been taught. See, I can't stand here and just preach because I want to. I preach because I have been taught. I preach because I have a laying on of hands. I preach because I come from an apostolic tradition that goes back thousands of years. And so do you. That is the faith that you have been taught. And the apostle says, do not be persuaded by anything that comes your way. We are in a century, in a decade, where we're seeing so much of a different type of Christianity. Positive Christianity, a healing Christianity, a prosperous Christianity. And I want to urge you, as leaders in our church, not to be persuaded, but to keep to the faith that you were taught. And that is not a joke. That's truth. The faith that you were taught has been preserved for thousands of years. And that's something that you have to cherish, and that's something that you have to keep, and that's something that you have to teach when you go back to your parish. It is something that you have to hold, and it is something that you have to be responsible for. I was telling my young ones, or my youth from Philadelphia, that irresponsibility of the faith is not an irresponsibility toward the church, necessarily, toward me, or to a priest, but toward Christ. And that is something that is unforgivable. And so you have a responsibility to be established, to hold fast to the faith that you have been taught, that has been handed down. If it's anything else, it's not the faith. And so be aware of that. It's something that you have to develop through NYLC, and that's why the theme is uncovering your roots, and that's why we're talking about orthodoxy and what is it. Okay, so remember, it's what you have been taught. Next slide. And once you have been taught this, don't sit around and be, so restricted. Be joyful. Be glad. Rejoice and be glad that you belong to the faith that is centered around the cross of Christ. In the morning prayer, we talked so much about the cross, hallelujah, hallelujah. And this is what you are a part of. And you have to rejoice in that. You have to, in other words, be happy that you belong to this. Not the fact, oh man, I'm Orthodox. Oh yeah, this is the church that I belong to. But when someone asks you, who are you? What are you? Rejoice and be happy. Abound in it with thanksgiving. Give thanks to the fact that you are Orthodox. Give thanks to the fact that you belong to the true faith. Rejoice and be happy. And I believe that God's blessing will come upon you when you do that. When you rejoice, when you give thanks to God for the things that He has done, when you give thanks to God for the things that He has done through our church, particularly the Indian Orthodox Church and all the Orthodox churches in America, God will give us the blessing. It will be as though when He told David, there I will make the horn of David grow. I will prepare a lamp for my anointed. His enemies I will clothe with shame, but upon himself his crown shall flourish. We shall flourish because why? Because we hold the faith. We are established. We are rooted. I want to end where I began. And if you go to the next slide, you know what I'm speaking of. During the communist era, as I spoke about in my introduction, the communist regime would go into the houses of the people, of the Serbian Orthodox. And there's a story that they went into the house of an old woman, a pious old Orthodox Serbian woman. And they went into her house and they said, where are all your religious articles? And she said, here are the religious articles. And they said, where are your icons? Where are your prayer books? Where are your Bibles? And she showed them everything, where it was. And so they took all the icons, they took the prayer books, they took the Bible that she had, and they took it outside and they burned it. And they burned all of it. And finally the soldiers started to leave. And the old pious woman with tears in her eyes recognized there was one thing that the soldiers had missed. So she went and she ran after them and said, you know, you missed one thing. You missed one icon. You forgot one icon. And the soldier said, where is it? Where's the icon? And she said, the icon of Christ, which is in me. And they shot her at that point. The question I have to you today is, are you the icon of Christ? Are you going to hold fast to what you believe and in what you were taught? You're not here just to become leaders or just to run programs for our church, because there's so many programs. And Josiah said, focus, and you can have as many programs as you want to have. But if you yourself are not an icon of Christ, these Orthodox movements will not work. You have to be the icon of Christ. First, it starts with you. Are you the icon of Christ? To him belong all praise, glory, and honor.